kercet warnanya kosopalul fala Yesu sunyo
We are now entering into another day, and the other day is Good Friday. Good Friday is the day on which Jesus was sacrificed. Jesus himself handed himself for crucifixion. When they came to arrest him at the Garden of Gethsemane, he presented himself. Again, at the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus invited his disciples to join him in praying or accompany him with their prayers. But what happened? They were sleeping. And finally he came and said, "Now the hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified." That was his hour. And when they came to arrest him at the garden, something unfortunate happened. Simon Peter struck the ear of the high priest's servant. But Jesus stopped him and healed or restored the ear of the servant. And he made a very profound statement. For he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. So at the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus was arrested. And therefore, the trials commenced after that point. He had two trials. One was a religious trial, and the other one was a political trial. During the religious trial, he was accused of blasphemy, calling himself the Son of God and promising to destroy the temple and raise it up in 3 days. The temple, according to history, took them ages to have it completed. But Jesus said he was going to raise it in 3 days. But we are told that the temple he meant was not the physical temple, but his body. He was alluding to the resurrection. Yes, these accusations could not have led to the death of Jesus, but they were very profound. Again, I want to indicate that from the religious trial, Jesus was taken to Pilate. And that was a political trial. Because they knew that with the religious trial, they wouldn't succeed in having Jesus executed. So there was the need for an alternative accusation or charge. And that was the reason for the political trial. And during the political trial, he was accused of asking the people not to pay taxes to Caesar and calling himself a king. And there was another accusation that he was trying to cause an insurrection, a revolt or a riot against the Roman leaders. So these were serious offenses brought against Jesus. But all these lacked the required merit. Notwithstanding, they found false witnesses who presented themselves and brought accusations against Jesus, that they were present when he said. And there too, Jesus, his disciples, especially Simon Peter, denied him 3 times, fulfilling what Jesus said, "Before the cock crows, you would have denied me thrice." And when Peter remembered this, he shed tears. So on Good Friday, we go through all these experiences where the disciples would sit and talk about this. So on Good Friday, Holy Thursday, as we enter the Garden of Gethsemane, allow me to interject here and take us back a bit. That movement happens in the church, actually. When the Blessed Sacrament is carried in procession with the Turifier and the cross bearers together with the acolytes, and they begin to sing Pange Lingua Gloriosi to the altar of repose. At the altar of repose, that is where the Blessed Sacrament is placed for individual or communal adoration. That is the movement or the transition from the upper room to the Garden of Gethsemane. So that is what the church wants us to experience during the Mass, that we are moving from the upper room to the Garden of Gethsemane. And everybody is called upon to join in the prayer. And at the Garden of Gethsemane, that is where we go to on Good Friday, and that is where the arrest takes place. And again, as I already alluded to, that Jesus would be tried. These accusations will be brought, and he will be tried. And finally, he would be found guilty, and they would write or they would inscribe Jesus, the Nazarene, King of the Jews. Jesus the Nazarene, rather, King of the Jews. That they would inscribe and have it nailed on his cross. And finally, he would die on that cross, and everything would be silent and dark. There would be complete darkness, complete sadness. Because the people, the disciples, were looking forward to the restoration of the kingdom to Israel. And now that this has happened, it's like their hopes have been dashed. And the master has been killed. Therefore, they all went into hiding. Peter denied him 3 times. The others disappeared. It was only John who stood by the cross. And Jesus at the cross said to his mother, "Woman, behold thy son. Son, behold thy mother." But the others were nowhere to be found. And that is what we would experience on Good Friday. A total still in the environment. Again, we continue in that spirit. And on Holy Saturday, we begin to remember all that he taught. Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. And by those statements, we will be motivated now to go to the tomb where Jesus was laid and join in praying and hoping that he would finally resurrect from the dead.
Kercet warnanya kosopah